All right, Young Justice season 4, Phantoms. It's finally ended. We wrapped up this episode,
Yep.
and what a finale! A lot of stuff has happened. It was, to me, I thought it was a very solid finale, and we need to get into it because there's just so much things just happened in this episode.
First off, I wanna say I was right about Rocket. She just came back, still part of the story.
Yeah,
she didn't die, which or nothing crazy happened to her, which is good.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think, do we want to go over that part really quick with the Rocket thing? The fact that she was all played in the grand scheme of things with Metron, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that was quite the ending. I mean, it does make sense considering there was like a scorch mark there in the Mars arc when Superboy died. So it was basically him.
Yeah.
But the whole time continuity thing is kind of strange. But disregarding that, it was a satisfying end, I suppose.
Yeah, for sure. And it's interesting how things that you didn't think were going to play a big role in the story winds up playing a role. So that was a very interesting thing, that he winds up using that time chair to help in this case Rocket at the end. So that's very interesting how that was played. But I guess let's start off with Connor not killing Superman, which we kind of knew, but the way he turned, it was kind of...
We were wrong about that. Like, I thought that he was going to get stopped by someone, but apparently it was just him, you know? He just thought about it and stopped.
Yeah, I think my only gripe with this is like, why did it took him this now? It just seems too like, oh, by the way, he's family. What do you mean, bro? You was family this whole time. What took you this moment to get there? So that's my only thing that was kind of inconvenient, but it is good that it was him that kind of stopped him instead of
it's more like it was barely an inconvenience, and it was totally convenient that he at that moment, you know, did it because you know, everyone was hiding and they could have stopped him, but they didn't. So I guess that's very, very convenient.
Yeah, that is. But that actually wants me to bring up to the next thing I want to talk about, which was the plan that both McGann and Nightwing having. So I'm actually glad that this was a plan that they, well, partially was a setup that they pretended to be knocked out. Because my biggest gripe was like, last episode was like, this was too, the villains are just winning too easily. So now it actually makes sense that it was like, oh, we're kind of pretending to be a little bit injured. So that's actually something I did like. With the McGann, especially McGann doing that, because Nightwing I can imagine doing that, but McGann, not to say that she doesn't do that, but that's something I didn't really expect her to be like, oh, let's just play them. So I like that.
Yeah, I liked the McGann stuff throughout the episode. I'd say, like, her, I feel like she could have done more damage to whoever she hurt. You know what I mean? Like, she basically, Laura got away, and also the Emerald Empress got away, and those are the two people that she basically brain blasted.
Yeah.
But like, you know, nothing to the level of Calder.
Calder, yeah, whatever. So when we think, I mean, yeah, that's interesting that, you know, she winds up destroying her friend more than the other people. And it's funny because Nightwing even said, like, bruh, like, you gotta, all right, go hard. Like, we can't be playing it like that, which I like that, because what we've been lacking from Nightwing is that kind of Batman-esque, and that's like a Batman-esque where it's like, look, we got Kryptonians, don't hold back, just do what you can to get them over it. So
yeah, I still feel like she held back. Yeah,
she did, unfortunately, but it is good that they were bringing that up, and you know, they kind of explained, and again with the plans going on, I like that little team they had with there. Next on that list would be, which I really love, was the fight, the team versus the Lords of Zods, the House of Zods. There's just so much happened in that whole fight. One thing that I love, my favorite part of that whole fight was the Superman and Superboy going against Lord Zod and General Zod, which I predicted. I was like, we got to get that together. So that was a nice thing.
It sort of reminded me of season 1 when they were fighting as pairs and teams and stuff like that.
Yeah, it did. It kind of was like the, you know, Superman versus Superboy and Batman versus Robin kind of fight parallel. Exactly. And it's funny now that we get to see them work together, and that was their thing where it was like, oh yeah, we could just beat them together. So I like that. I also liked how what's it called, Mala Fahawk versus Zatanna, because I kind of like the idea of like psychic versus magic, which was such an interesting concept where it's like, well, you could beat me with my magic, but could you beat like, but my psychic stuff can stop your brain. So that's a very, I love that kind of thing of like who has the higher power levels kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like Macomb took the upper hand either way. So
yeah,
but
so yeah, that was a very unique thing there. Of course, you know, what's it called? McGann is gonna help Superboy, so that kind of free him, which it is what it is.
Yeah, that's something I mentioned a lot earlier on, like plot conveniences and everything. Because if they brought her in the Phantom Zone, they could have solved it immediately.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. They definitely would have solved it immediately. But hey, I appreciate the fight we had here, and I liked how Robin was kind of leading it, saying, "Okay, we need you to handle these people. We need you to handle that." Because one of our biggest gripes with this arc earlier was that Robin at some point just didn't seem like he was the leader, and even Aqualad was just taking control. So now it's like Robin's actually initiating the plans, and we're seeing it run. So yeah, that was another thing that I really loved about this fight. And even Kid Flash and stuff, they were kind of adding their 2 cents. I did wanted the Legions to play more, but I guess they weren't as valuable players in this whole fight as I would have wanted them to be. But
yeah,
I mean, I know they did have quite a scene where they were fighting against Mullah Fahak, which is funny because he was fighting 2 people at once. He was fighting the Legions and he was fighting, I think, because they switched partners at some point. I'm trying to remember who else he was fighting at the same time. But, oh no, I think McGann comes in against him at some point, wasn't it?
No, it was Saturn Girl.
Oh, so Saturn Girl and and Saturn Girl and the other Legion dude were both fighting him at the same time?
Yeah, because...
Danny Chase.
Danny Chase, there you go.
Yeah.
Like, they were fighting him at the same time.
Yeah. Danny Chase gets his revenge. That's another thing. Another thing that I thought was so again, Lord Zod, I guess that answers the question of like, could he just bring his minions from the Phantom Zone, because we get to see that happen. And I'm still wondering. I still thought you should have did it earlier.
yeah. Your thing, you put our last review when you pointed out that he should have just done it. Like, you're right. You're totally right. I think even someone said it. He was like, "Oh yeah, you should have done it earlier. Like, this is your bad, you know?"
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, that's a good point. I guess they didn't really need to recharge the mother box at all.
Yeah, they could have just brought him out. I mean, I guess it is what it is. There, I am a little bit. It is weird that only 2 minions came out. Like, I don't get why only 2 of them came out. Like, I feel like more should have came out.
Yeah. As interesting as this finale was, there's a lot of like, I guess, plot conveniences or just like things that happen that don't have good explanations, you know? Mm-hmm. Like, for instance, the whole army thing not coming out. Mm-hmm. Like, we also didn't get much of an explanation to what happened to Danny Chase in the first place. And, you know, my prediction was that he just sort of fell asleep and then now he gained back consciousness, which seems to be correct. But it's a lot of things that we just have to imply, which is fine if it's enough for us to imply it safely. But a lot of the times it's like we're guessing at certain things.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Like, I wish we knew more about, for example, why the Empress thing would have worked on Lord Zod's Mon. Like, I don't get why the Eye were able to work on her. I thought they would at least somewhat explain it in this thing. And it's funny how that thing just ends up taking her away. It was like, oh, so
yeah. I didn't really like the way they executed it. In concept, it's fine that she gets away, but like,
yeah,
I feel like they had so many people there that could have stopped her, especially Superman.
Yeah, that's definitely a thing there. Although Superman was
this was at the very end where everyone was free, like, as in like people, they thought they brought them in the Phantom Zone, like they kicked everyone into the Phantom Zone except for Lore and his mom.
Oh yeah, you're right.
It was just those 2, and then everyone was just standing around when they got away. So that I did not like at all.
Yeah, they definitely, especially with the part with Lord Zod, because Lord Zod was just trapped like light there, and then I don't know if Flash was there too. I know Kid Flash was there, but the point is there are more enough speedsters who could have come there. But I mean, I don't know. His death was probably, to me, I love the way he died. He dies when trying to kill Superboy. He goes back to the time when he tries to kill Superboy. That's such a good way for him to die.
I'm cool with that death. Like in concept, it's cool. You know, these people get away. That's fine. But the way they executed them getting away was not like very well done.
What about them or the Zod's people getting back to the Phantom Zone? Did you like how they were like, oh, let's take them back to the Phantom Zone? Like, did you like that? Or even Mala for Hawk going to the Phantom Zone? I was like really happy about that one.
Yeah, I was glad about it, but like they just get away. So
yeah, they got away obviously, and that's where the light comes in, which I'm kind of glad the light finally puts their step into this, because I was like, where the hell have you been during these whole Kryptonian stuff? So the light has their own plans for the Kryptonians, and
yeah.
So that is something that was interesting put in. And then obviously Malafahak gets this new planet, which that's another thing. This episode introduced too many new planets. Empress goes a new planet. Malafahak gets a nice, like everyone's just getting their nice getaway this episode. So
yeah, but it definitely adds a lot of layers to his character. Instead of like trying to genocide Mars, he actually wants to bring, I guess, the white Martians who feel that they're oppressed to the new planet, which is a much, much better strategy, and I can actually get behind that versus trying to kill off the entire race of people. Yeah,
exactly. So that's definitely something out there for sure. Next I want to talk about is the wedding scene. Just a few little pointer things that I noticed. For starters, let's talk about how the legions, like I'm glad they brought Brainiac, and I was wondering why Brainiac wasn't with them the whole time, since Brainiac's like one of the most smartest people in the legions of superheroes. So
yeah,
so it makes sense that he would, go. If he was there, they would have defeated Lord Zod easily. That's what I would say, but whatever. But it's good that they saw Brainiac, which I liked. It's weird that I don't know if you saw, because I was looking at because when they were showing the whole list of people, of heroes, I did not see Will or the clone Roy at all, which is weird because you think he would be there since that was his friends. So I didn't see him at all.
That's a good point. I didn't notice that. I just noticed Iceco Jr. and I was like, yes.
Iceco Jr. is there. Yeah. Like they had, what's his name, the original Roy, but they didn't have Clone Roy, which I was like, why is he not there? He's the actual friend. They admit that they only know Clone Roy. They don't even know the original one. So that's interesting.
Yeah, I didn't notice that. I should have paid more attention to who was there, but
yeah.
So, I mean, I think his high school friends were there, I think.
Yeah, the high school friends were there. They made a joke. Fun fact, the wedding, the guy who was doing the wedding, like, you may now kiss the bride. That's actually the voice the guy who did the voice for that. That's actually the creator of the show, Greg Weisman. So it's kind of funny.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, so it's funny they have.
But he appeared before.
Yeah, he appeared for sure. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like I remember seeing him in like season. Teacher.
Yeah, season 1. Yeah. Teacher. So that's funny. So they made him do the wedding stuff. But I guess now to the good stuff, the after credit scene, right, where we get to see Darkseid and his new people who joined the crew.
Yeah.
Which we get Supergirl, which was an interesting reveal, as well as Mary, which they kind of set up. So what's your thoughts on that?
I mean, it's definitely a surprising scene. I wasn't expecting Supergirl to be there. I thought that they pulled out some random person from the Phantom Zone, from the House of Zod.
At first, I thought it was going to be the Empress. But then I was like, okay, Supergirl. But this brings me to many questions of like, why didn't Zod not see Supergirl or mention Supergirl in the Phantom Zone? Because I would imagine he would see her.
I don't know, man. It's a big place.
It's true, but the light for the light to find them that fast, but they didn't find them, that's a little bit, I don't know, man.
It doesn't really matter too much. I mean, like, I'm pretty sure they're just setting up for next season. I don't know. I feel like it would, as much as a Supergirl story would be interesting, but it's always very similar, like she starts out confused and then usually ends up just being, turning good thanks to Superman.
Yeah.
So, but maybe this also has something to do with Superboy, but we'll see.
It's a possible thing. So yeah, those were my main points. I guess to sum it up, because I guess we should talk about a season as a whole, this whole season now that this episode is done. Yeah, what's your thoughts about this season?
Well, before that, I want to mention stuff about the wedding. Like, I thought it was cool, and it was related to, or it reminded me of like Korra, like the last season of Korra.
Oh, that's funny. Book 4, season 4. So they kind of parallel.
Like the wedding, yeah. But this time it's with, actual main characters. And yeah, it was a nice ending, I'd say. because it was more of a conclusive, we're all happy type of ending versus like a lot of the previous seasons, where someone died or someone left the team or like yeah, just I guess season 1 was also more of a conclusive, yes, we won type of thing, but at the same time it's like, where did the Justice League go? This ending,
and don't forget that Roy was all like he wants to leave the team, so it was kind of depressing for Roy. It's bittersweet.
Yeah, this ending, it was a lot more like happy and positive overall at the very end.
Definitely.
Yeah, so I just wanted to mention that like difference, and I thought it was cool. It was nice. Like it's a very happy ending type of thing.
Yeah, that's a fair point. That's a fair point. You brought that up.
Yeah. I mean, as for the season, I think overall it was entertaining. Like talking about it was definitely entertaining, and like we said before, this is like a different Young Justice now. We can't expect it to be like before, as good as before in terms of animation quality and so on. So for what it was entertaining.
Yeah, I don't know. I know this ending kind of does give me a different feel about it, but to me overall, it is entertaining, but I am definitely a little bit disappointed. And I do feel like if I were to measure my enjoyment with all the episodes, because like if I had to be really honest, I only would say 10 episodes I actually really enjoy in this season. The rest of them, they're all the realm to like okay to like kind of like meh, you know what I'm saying? Like they're just episodes that I don't even want to, it's not like they're not like polarizing or annoying. It's just like something where I don't care about watching it, rewatching again. Like if I had to be honest, I'll just only want to rewatch the Artemis arc, Rocket's arc, at least the last 3 episodes of that arc, and then this arc, excluding the episode with Brion. Like as much as I was okay with that episode, but if we exclude that episode, like I only want to watch those arcs. Everything else, I mean, maybe there's certain moments I may rewatch, but like the whole episode, I don't really care as much.
Yeah.
Comparing to last season, even last season that I didn't really like, there was disappointments there. I could at least say that the first half of it, which are 13 episodes, I can rewatch that purely fine. And there's still some episodes in the second part that I can rewatch and I can have a good experience with. But this season, there's just some parts that I don't really care rewatching. So for that to happen, I am a little bit cautiously scared about what will happen the next season. Hopefully that the quality doesn't get lower. Like, I mean, I don't expect the quality to get better, but I don't want it to get lower. But other than that, yeah, that's just my general thoughts with this season. That it's overall to me, and even the whole story itself, I still feel like this season, I mean, much as I enjoyed what I saw, I don't really feel like it was needed. Like, it doesn't really build upon what was previously established in the last seasons at all. Like, you can take this, like, this season itself kind of does feel like a filler in my eyes. But
I see.
So that's my opinion on it overall. But there was definitely enjoyable moments for sure, and I like Lord Zod as a villain.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, Wally didn't come back, so so there's no way this season can be like better than when Wally was around, basically.
That's fair. Yep. Although we did get to see
but I guess if you really want me to get into like the actual critiques, because like me saying that it's entertaining, it's a very, very, very shallow critique or shallow analysis of how the season went overall.
Yeah,
I mainly say that because I want to stay positive overall, because I feel like a lot of the stuff we've been talking about lately, I've been not feeling it.
Okay.
And I don't like, I genuinely don't. Okay, trashing on something can be fun sometimes, but doing it too often, I don't like that.
That's fair.
So, and when things are not up to what I like them to be and not up to the standards, and I feel disappointed, I generally don't feel like I want to talk about it that much.
Oh, okay.
Unless I'm like super angry about it. In this case, it was not like, I don't really feel angry about it. It's just not up to what I wanted it to be, I guess. Because again, for this episode, I just feel like there's a lot of things that could have happened better. Like the whole Superboy thing felt like it got resolved so quickly, and now he's like totally fine. The whole McGann thing, like not utilizing her earlier and having some huge plot conveniences, her not being at all angry about you know, the fact that Nightwing didn't tell her, like a lot of flashback stuff that felt kind of like they were just filling the time with it. But yeah, those are some bigger critiques for the most recent episode. But for the season in general, like I get what you're saying, and I totally agree. Like I feel like for story purposes and even character purposes, I just don't think many of them really got too much like progress. I felt like Calder and all the other characters, Artemis and so on, they felt kind of empty for this last arc. They were just kind of there. Like, they didn't really feel like themselves to me. Which brings us to a point you made a lot earlier on, which was, you know, if we're gonna have the character there, they have to have some involvement or some like emotional involvement, some sort of like thing that makes them relate to it. But even in this case, they're trying to save Superboy, which is their friend, and I still feel like I didn't feel that much from each of them. You know,
I agree.
Like there wasn't much interaction between them as a team. There wasn't. I just feel like a lot of things felt empty to me. Yeah, and that to me is very sad. Like as much as I want to like a lot of this, that's my honest opinions, which again, I don't like to talk like this, or like I don't want to like always be like, yes, it could have been better, or I'm disappointed and stuff like that. That's not what I want to do. You know, I want to rave about it. I want to be happy that it was like awesome. But for me personally, this is just my honest opinions about how a lot of the season felt.
Yeah, I agree. I guess to, again, end on a positive note so we don't feel like everyone thinks we just hate the series. Again, I will say for this season finale, I will say I did enjoy the season finale a little bit more than last season's finale, just because as much as the last season's finale, as much as I like that they resolved certain things, I did feel like I didn't like how the whole, for example, Vandal Savage and Darkseid thing in last season, where he just shook Vandal's hand and it's like, oh, everything's all cool, right? And then it's like there are certain things that resolved in the last season that I didn't really enjoy as much as I like the Brion twist. And at least this season, a lot of the resolve, even though it may be quick or convenient, for what they give us this season, I felt that it worked for me. It worked where it was like, okay, we solved this, we solved that, we solved all these things. So I will say that this season to me, or at least the ending for me, I enjoyed it more. And I'm definitely more hyped, or at least curious about what they're going to do with the after credit scene, as opposed to what they did with the ending of last season, where we just see the legions as heroes. So I'll put that on the positive note.
Yeah, and in general, at least for this episode, I got the happy vibes from the wedding and everything, and I'm glad, you know, they're finally, M'gann and Connor are finally married and everything. It, like I said, entertaining. It was enjoyable for the watch, but it wasn't like great, you know? Yeah,
definitely. And I like Connor's slit back hair. That was interesting. I've never seen Connor with hair like that. Couldn't recognize him for a second. I was like, wait, is that Connor? Oh, okay. But yeah, do you want to read comments now?
Sure.
Okay, let's read these comments. So Sinma says, I believe the reason Nightwing went out and not the others is because he felt like keeping more from keeping more from leaving was more important, because the two that just left wouldn't have powered up yet. He left it to see where the boom tubes went and the situation to report back, but the solar parts charging them had to act then and there. So also about him not stepping back while the others are more ordered than him. Remember, Nightwing himself does not want to be the leader. He just falls on him. It falls on him sometimes. So when he has the choice, he prefers others to lead. Okay. I think Sinma does have some good points about Nightwing not really wanting to be the leader, or as well as him just trying to. He felt that the Kryptonians inside the inside the Phantom Zone were more important than outside. I do think that, although I would think the outside one would be more dangerous because of, you know, the sun, but I guess they didn't expect the sun, so I guess that's where he's coming from.
Yeah. Okay. So Tevye said, I personally love this episode and I'm excited for the season finale. It's going to be really awesome and badass. So that was for the previous episode, and yeah, the last episode was a good one.
Definitely, I agree. Marsh says, Furuta had a point in this episode. She's been imprisoned in Senori Hell for 40 years when she was the only one meant to she was only meant to serve 5. Calder, don't tell her to stand down. Maybe you parole her. Yeah, I can see their opinion, and now it kind of sucks because with Vandal and everything, we don't know how long they're going to be won't be used. So it's like they basically now are. We'll see what happens to them, but it seems like they're even more in prison now.
Yeah, I mean, if they don't pull a Briome on us where they basically don't follow up with the previous season at all, then hopefully the next season will, get to it quickly and be like, okay, yeah, we try to go in the Phantom Zone to talk to them, and they're not there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Rotimi said, it's a good episode, but the issue it has is that there's too much stuff to unpack. Most of the season has been the plot taking a stroll, then this final arc basically just went full sprint. If the previous episodes were paced better and some ideas trimmed down, in parentheses, it's Beast Boy's depression arc for one, this could have had time to breathe, which I definitely agree with.
Yeah, 100%. A Tribe Called Quest says, in regards to Calder as the leader, he was a leader for the Justice League for a while. Where the other hand, Nightwing just started to avoid team stuff in season 3. Yeah, again, I mean, like I said, responsibility. I see Nightwing not wanting responsibility, but it just would be nice for him to take more since he was leading this arc for the most part.
Yeah, sort of. Not really, sort of.
Yeah,
sure.
Sort of. Yeah, sort of.
Yeah, okay. Koto Agami says, imagine waiting for your favorite character arc to come, only to find out that they are the 3rd character or 4th in their arc, and later to find out he potentially dies in this in the episode. Well, he didn't. We all knew he wasn't dead. Yeah, otherwise I would have quit Young Justice.
What if, okay, I'm curious, if he died and then you see him a scene with Wally coming back to the Earth, would you have quit it? Would it just be like a...
How does that make any sense though?
It wouldn't. It would just, they'll figure out a way.
Sure. I mean, if he comes back with Wally, then I guess I'll watch it again.
Oh my god.
Obviously, right. He didn't die though, so yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. X-Men says, LO, if we do get a Lord Zod versus Superboy, it's going to be a sad day for the House of L Lord would do worse than a match. I like how they kind of subvert our expectations by skip past General Zod versus Superman fight, but now I hope the person who takes him down out is Darkseid to show how strong he is. I'm not gonna lie, after season 3 set up Halo and the ultimate weapon for Earth, seeing her to be wasted as a college is irritating. Praying that Nightwing and the Batman family get some love next season. Yeah, I agree, and the best part was we did get a Superman versus Zod fight, so I'm happy about that. So
yeah, and Superboy held his own against Lord Zod, so
yeah. But yeah, it sucks that Halo. I am sad that Halo has not been used properly, and I hope she gets used, and hope we get to see more of the Batman family next season.
Yeah, I have zero hope for Halo. Like I'm just like I don't know. After what you saw in this season, like why would you have any hope for Halo? You know, it's just, it doesn't make sense.
But the thing is, they mentioned she's the mother box, and the light has to use her for that battle with the the battle with Darkseid. So she is an important. Her and Cyborg's still an important tool to the story.
Yeah, I guess, but they certainly don't seem like it to me.
Yeah.
Okay, Laura said, I think that Zatanna will have an important paper in the final arc to fight with the Zod family, or Dr. Fate will appear to fight. Well, that didn't happen, unfortunately. Not sure. Yeah, it was good. Interesting predictions for sure. Like, there's a lot of things that could have happened, and a lot of people did show up at the end, like Flash, but they didn't really do anything.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. They just showed up.
Come on, Flash. I would expect you to get there faster.
Well, to be fair, Kid was there, so maybe he thought Kid handle it,
No, like you're seeing on television that Superman's about to die. I mean, the first thing you do is like speed over there, like.
Oh man, AC Dub Film says if the ending credits seen from episode 24 has any indication, it's a possibility that the Light could intervene. If Clarion is with Savage, he could randomly bring up Zatanna trying to summon him to get Connor out of the Phantom Zone. Given the danger of the rogue Kryptonians possibly escaping Earth, Savage may have been preparing for a counter-strike that could fruition next to the episode. Not to mention, Superman and the rest of the League are vital to his plans regarding of his confrontation with Darkseid, so it's likely that the event of these heroes failed to reach Kal in time, the Light wouldn't. I think Rocket's either trapped in some sort of limbo between Earth and the Phantom Zone, or is forced out of a boom tube onto Earth on the Phantom Zone. If the former is true, it's a possibility that Zod reopened the boom tube. Rocket could have re-emerged, catch them by surprise, and even save Superman if the General Zod doesn't order Superboy to kill him first. Also, the heroes kept hitting the wrong person when they given the best opportunity to attack. Why not? Why is it no one hitting Malafalak? There's no way they killed Nightwing. I refuse to accept the show with any more calluses to his character that they already have. Yeah, unfortunately, I mean, it didn't really play off like that. I do agree that Malafalak, which he kind of did get his hit at this episode, but the Light wound up, in this episode kind of revealed they wound up using the Kryptonians. So yeah, and Nightwing did get some justice in this episode, but not justice that we wanted.
Yeah, but makes a good point because, why not keep hitting Macomb? Because Macomb's clearly a huge threat to everyone.
He is.
So, I mean, they addressed it in this last episode. Like, clearly they had many people fighting him.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Let's see. Midnight Lucario says, I find it ironic that Lore's plans are being ruined by the very people he's trying to save. Serves him right. That's a good point. Like, yeah. I feel like Lore by himself was more threatening and more tactically sound than having Zod come out, because Zod's just an idiot, like a straight up idiot. Like, I'm gonna go announce to the world full of superheroes that I'm gonna kill Superman, and I'm not at full strength, but I'm not also gonna take out my army yet.
Yeah, but to be fair on Zod's point is like he thinks he's this like super powerful being who can conquer anybody. So it's like in his mindset, I could see why he would think like he wouldn't really need, like, if Superman is the strongest hero and I can defeat him, nobody would defeat me. Like,
yeah,
I think
that was kryptonite.
Yeah, but I think in his head he was trying to use that fear because they don't know he used kryptonite. So
I mean, he's freaking green, man. Like,
I don't know. Maybe they don't. They don't know about They don't know. The audience people don't know. So he's just trying to strike fear, and he didn't think that.
Yeah, but
by taking Superman.
I get what you're saying. That's potentially true. That's probably what he did think because he's an idiot.
Yeah.
But like, he clearly walked out to a whole bunch of like super powered people, and even in the Phantom Zone, they were trying to stop him too with abilities, including magic. So it's not like he didn't get exposed to any of it and see that clearly there are people out there that have these powers.
But
true. Then the first thing he does before he's fully powered up is announce to the entire world that he's going to take over.
That's like true.
That seems pretty idiotic to me.
That seems idiotic.
Without his army too.
Without his army, but we also have to remember that what's her name? The Empress they thought that the Empress destroyed those heroes who were in that ship. So if those heroes can get easily destroyed by the Empress, how much more, all I really need is just kryptonite to fear this villain and have the Empress destroy any hero. Like, I feel like I understand the ignorance based off what they've been seeing. That's the best way I'm describing it. Which is funny because even he at one point says, dang, I should listen to Lord Zod at one point. So
exactly.
It's like, so it is, exactly. At one point he does reveal it, but the point is I can see his ignorance based off the events that were given.
Yeah, but Lord Zod didn't do enough to help guide him as well, I suppose. He was too submissive because it was his father, I guess.
Yeah. Exactly, man.
Because Lore has seen a lot, clearly. Like,
yeah, definitely. He was like, whole time he's like, kill the Superboy.
Kill the Superboy. Don't announce to the world that you're freaking taking over yet. Maybe go to full strength first.
It's funny. It reminds me of, you remember inside season 2 where that one in the Reach where she's like, I think we need to stop the Scarab. And they're like, no, let's not stop the Scarab.
All these leaders are such idiots. It's so funny.
Yeah, it is. It is. Okay, so Gentle Savage says episode 26 got leaked with some clips somehow. I think France both had the last 2 episodes were released. Do you think they should have released this episode with the last episode?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, like it was kind of a cliffhanger ending. Doesn't really matter either way.
Yeah.
Yeah, but episode 19, Lore indicated that, is this the right one? Or
Yeah, that's the right one.
indicated that the deal he made with Darkseid was akin to the agreement Darkseid made with Vandal Savage, basically conquer the galaxy together and then wage a final battle for it. That suggests that Darkseid is entirely, if not mostly, aware of Lore's intentions and the threat that the House of Zod presents. That being said, when Lore Zod finally went back in time and killed Superboy at the UN before the Legion of Superheroes went back in time and intervened, the House of Zod had conquered the galaxy, so clearly Darkseid didn't stand a chance in that reality. Yeah, the whole aspect, the whole time thing is very confusing because, like, you know how in the Mars arc we saw that Superboy's body, the shadow was there, which it was clearly Lore's. But they seem to be acting as if the time stream is like one whole, like, as soon as you go back, things change, and it's a loop basically. So it's kind of strange how it works in the DC, in this Young Justice universe, because most of the time, at least for DC Comics, I believe it's more like multiverse stuff. So if you go back and change something, then it branches off to another universe and doesn't really change the current one.
Yeah, so that's a very interesting thing, because if we remember back in the season 2 with the Blue Beetle thing, where he what's it called? Dang, I forgot that guy who can make explosions, and we see that he was able to, when what's it called, Kid changed the timeline. It didn't necessarily change.
Yeah, Impulse.
Impulse. I'm calling him Kid now, but the point is, when Impulse changed the timeline, it didn't necessarily change that guy's, like, it changes, like, he no longer has that power, but it no longer, or the power is no destructive anymore, but he no longer, the future is still kind of the same or whatever. So, which I'm still confused about, because then that makes me wonder what's going to happen in the quote unquote future. But so I am confused about what, like, happens now, or how the timeline works, because to me that made me think they have a different universe, or a different an alternate timeline. But now it just seems like they're now it does seem like it is, like, static or whatever. So,
well, I think that when Neutron, like, Neutron was the one who sent him back, right? Impulse back in the time machine, and then as soon as he got sent back, that final scene in that episode was like him. I think he got, like, a jumpsuit, like a white one, and he was, like, back to normal. But they were at Mount Justice, and Mount Justice exploded. So it makes sense that it still was exploded. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but the way it was shot, it was like there was like black dust coming down, and it looked like the dark future. Because the reason why I think it's the same or weird future is that the same dark dust that we see in that scene, we also see where when we see Impulse looking at Blue Beetle. So the fact that it looks like that, it makes me indicate, and it makes it indicate that the world was still destroyed or something like that.
I guess so. But for me, I think they just made it out to be like, oh, bad stuff still happens, which it does, and Mount Justice got exploded, because that episode happened before Mount Justice got exploded.
That's fair.
So I think that's what it was, and the future did change. But at the same time, like, how the heck does he know? Like, why is he there? You know, it's more for dramatic purposes than story purposes.
Yeah.
So the whole time stream thing, I'm just not going to think about it, because whenever I do, I just poke too many holes, and I don't like it.
Yeah, I agree. But let us know again what's your opinions on this in the comments. We may read it for a different video about Young Justice related stuff, and don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yeah, it was good doing this, like, just the whole season 4. It was fun. It was a fun time with you guys, basically. We really appreciated, like, you guys coming along with us doing these reviews and everything, and just, like, commenting and reading them out and everything. It was a fun time.
Definitely. You guys made this a good time watching the show as well. So
yeah, appreciate it, guys. We'll catch you in the next one, maybe season 5, or hopefully a different show. We'll see.
Peace.